Sello Hatang, who is CEO of the Nelson Mandela Centre of Memory, joins us on the line now to talk about the passing of Nelson Mandela. Good morning to you, Sello. You're of the Centre of Memory. It was a long life. There are many memories, so you have a big responsibility.
Well, David, good morning. And not just the Nelson Mandela Foundation that carries that responsibility. I think after 95 years, one can understand what Madiba meant, and I want to quote him when he says, "What counts in life is not the mere fact that we have lived. It is what difference we have made to the lives of others that will determine the significance of the life we lead." And I think it's something that we should learn, that with a life of service that is given, we can also play our part in terms of building our country.
Sello, if we look at the role of the centre in capturing the life of the icon, how will you be telling the story as the world and South Africa wakes up to the news?
I think the greatest challenge for us would be, how do you mark in any meaningful way the life and times of Nelson Mandela that people can relate to, where you ensure that people understand that the three pillars on which Madiba's values were based, in our view, is free yourself, free others, and serve every day. And I think that's the key that we will be trying to lead that kind of a movement of service.
Sello, you talk about his life and work being owned by current and future generations, and you need slogans, you need words, you need things that can kind of summarize this. How are you doing that? How are you trying to capture the memory and the values?
Well, fortunately, Madiba did most of that for us, and I think we can only be grateful for that kind of service that he's given us. And I'll give you an example that in 2008, when he was in London, he said the world remains beset by so much human suffering. It is in your hands to help change the world for the better. And I think those are things that we can galvanize communities around, because he did it for us. He actually handed over the baton to the next generation. And it's important that we take that seriously, we take it to heart, and we act accordingly.
Of course, Sello, one of the ways in which that baton has been carried has been through the Mandela International Day, which is globally recognized. Do you anticipate this taking off and maybe even on an even deeper significance and relevance for the world following the passing of the icon?
Of course, that's what we're hoping to get, is for people to try and identify how best they can participate in preserving the legacy. And I think the Mandela Day provides us with that opportunity for us to have an outlet where you can help participate by building your community. And I want to remind you that the tagline for Mandela Day is take action, inspire change, make every day a Mandela Day. In other words, we don't have to wait for July. We can continue to do that kind of work that Madiba wanted us to do, whether it be on education or whichever sphere of life which you feel passionate about, in order to try and build a better South Africa.
Sello, a lot of our heritage has been neglected. There are other pressing priorities in a developing state like ours. Do we have the resources? Do you have the resources to do the job properly? Because a rich life it dominated South African politics, in and out of prison for 50 years. More than that, really. There's a lot of stuff to get together, to archive, to curate, and make sure that it's all preserved. Are you going to be able to do that?
David, I think that's a significant question that you asked there, because preserving a legacy as big as Nelson Mandela's, where he gave 67 years or more than 67 years of service to the world, and you then have to collect records that are related thereto, it's not a small task at all. And one of the things that I want to remind viewers of CNBC is that we at the Nelson Mandela Foundation have at the center, we have the exhibition on the life and times of Nelson Mandela, which includes his papers, the oldest record we have in the collection dates back to 1929, which are his church membership cards. It's those things that you must try and preserve them in a pristine manner, so that those generations which might come in the next 50 to 100 years will be able to enjoy what we're enjoying today. So we've digitized most of these things, but we're asking viewers out there to help support the legacy. You can visit www.nelsonmandela.org, and you'll get information on how you can support the legacy.
Well, thanks to Sello Hatang, who is CEO of the Nelson Mandela Centre of Memory. And just looking at some of those images there just bears out what Sello was saying there. We have such a rich visual archive alone, let alone the documents and the black and white pictures and the newspaper reports, and just seeing those pictures there at the Union buildings of Nelson Mandela with his arms up, but behind him F.W. de Klerk, who released him from jail, and behind them the military, who were as enthusiastic in their support of Nelson Mandela in the end as they had been of the previous government, which was a crucial factor in the transition.